Heretic is in theaters now, and I gotta say, I really liked this film. This is a rated R psychological horror film that was co-written and co-directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, who you'll remember from Quiet Place. They are really good writers. I think they did such an amazing job with the elements of horror. This film doesn't have traditional jump scares. It isn't horror in the traditional sense. The monster really is manipulation and mind control. And I loved that. I loved how they used the set design and these games to play mind tricks. And the performances are outstanding. Hugh Grant is so scary in this film. His performance, along with Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East, it was just penetrating long after I left the theater. There's so many underlying messages here, and it just had me thinking for days after I saw the film. So Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East play young, impressionable Mormons who go door to door to evangelize, really. We meet them in such a vulnerable place because we see that they are very impressionable girls in their religion. And I like the setup to leading into, I should say, the inciting incident. So we see them trying to evangelize and getting turned down, but still trying, being relentless in their faith. And they eventually meet Hugh Grant's character. Hugh Grant is very charming and charismatic that lures them into his house in the middle of nowhere like a den. And he seems at first impression to be very welcoming and interested in what they're evangelizing. But as we peel back those layers, we realize that he is using truth and facts to still manipulate them and to see if they are so vulnerable that their faith can be shaken. So they try to evangelize him, and he knows a lot more than they expect. When they thought they were evangelizing him, turns out he was trying to manipulate them to shake their faith. This film is heavy in symbolism. Every set piece contributed to the narrative of the story. These girls, very impressionable, leaving the comfort of their church out into the secular world to evangelize and are eventually lured to this den. This house on the exterior, when they first approach, looks safe. And Hugh Grant's character really comes off as safe and interested in what they are evangelizing. And so they are manipulated into this den by this wolf in sheep's clothing, and he tests them. He lures them back to his makeshift altar in the back of his house and forces them to choose between belief and disbelief to test their faith. And when they choose, which would have been the same end, he lures them down to this basement that is really hell, where they have to be sacrificed and die, and to see if there is life after death. I mean, it is really heavy and a lot of symbolism. There are a lot of close-ups. I think that camera that finds Hugh really close up to show the manipulation, I thought that was a really eerie way to drive home the narrative. It uses the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, and game pieces to illustrate how easy it is to be manipulated by religion and information. That's really the film. I really, really enjoyed this film. I think it is well written. It's definitely well performed. It's not going to be for everybody, especially if you don't give it a chance, because on the front end, it is very heavy in its manipulation. I mean, really heavy. And if you can't get over that because this is about heresy. If you can't get over that, then you won't enjoy the film. But if you are open enough to give the film a chance, especially in the second act, when it is challenging scripture, the Bible, the Quran, and the Torah, when it's challenging that, if you don't give it a chance, then you'll probably give up on the film. But it is getting to its point the further along you go in the film. Again, this is a rated R psychological horror film from A24. It's about an hour and 50 minutes long. If you're game, I say give Heretic a chance. Heretic is in theaters now.